all seek it.
Must be destroyed.
If you do not find a way, no one will.
And now you can own it. When The Lord of the Rings comes home on VHS and DVD.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we are having a little special guest here for Lord of the Rings. We got Gollum here. Thought that this would be fun to round out our Fellowship painting series. The kind of, some might say, true hero of the story, banishing the evil of the ring forever, even if it was at the sake of Frodo's finger. So we got this little guy here, and we're going to finish him up as a little special before we move on to other projects. So let's get into it. Now, the majority of this miniature is no surprise to anybody. It is flesh, so we're going to start things off with Gollum in flesh, or any kind of contrast or speed paint equivalent. But just painting all that around on his fleshy bits, and just ignore his hair for now. We're going to fill that in later, but just go all over his body, except for his little loincloth, and cover him up with whatever flesh paint you got going on. We're going to use Agrac's Earthshade here for his little dirty, filthy loincloth. We're using this instead of a gray so that it stands out from all that stonework that surrounds this miniature. Now I'm going to do about 2 coats on there, maybe even 3, just depends. But I think 2 should do you good. Get a nice filthy kind of dingy brown. And for the stonework, we're just throwing a gray contrast on there. With everything based, we can start to get into the detailing. So Cadian flesh tone here to start things off, and this is really just to clean up any areas. You don't have to worry too much about this. We're mostly going to be keeping the shadowed areas that the contrast paint has given us and focus mostly on that. So once that's been all cleaned up, I'm doing a little dry brush of Rakarth flesh here to kind of prepare the miniature for the more standard brush highlights. This is just going to blend things together, and kind of make that Cadian flesh tone not be so I guess saturated and lively. So then we go in with our brush and just pick up those mid-tone areas and get him more Rakarth fleshy, or whatever kind of pale mid-tone flesh you've got going on as well. Going around getting those ears, little elbow bits, etc., all the flat areas or raised areas that you find. And we're following up with Pallid Witch Flesh, just going right into those tippy top highlights on the skin, points that make him stand out. We're just going to go in there and get them all done. Knuckles, toes, joints, or really, the topmost bits of those strenuous muscles, etc. And of course the facial details. We got his little nosy and his forehead, etc. going in and getting those. Now for that hair, we had covered it up before with our flesh tone. We're going to go back in with Basilicanum, or any kind of, you could probably use Agrax if you wanted to give him a more browny look, but just going in and lining those hair strands he's got. And then the loincloth, we're just highlighting up that dingy thing to get some more detail. Right, extra touches. This is what's really going to bring out this miniature. We've got Careburg Crimson here, and we're just going to do some glazing. Just glaze it over his hands and his feet. Kind of areas that would maybe get cold is what I'm thinking about, or maybe even stained with old dried blood that he can't wash off. Those kinds of things. But I felt like the knees, the elbows, and the feet and hands would be good areas to pop this Careburg Crimson in and make it look like some poor circulation or bruises, old scuffed areas. He's also got some scars on his back that I'm using this for, and I used it on the bags under his eyes and his grody mouth lips as well, just to give him some more personality. Old dried blood from, maybe fish that he's torn apart, or bodies, or maybe poor circulation. Maybe he's drinking too much grape juice. He's that kid that you have over. He drinks all your grape juice and he doesn't know how to put his lips on the edge of the glass and he gets all stained up. Anyway, we have our bold titanium white, just doing a dry brush there on the rocks, pick out all the highlights. You can go in with a brush if you need to get more specific, and then getting his eyes and his teeth in there as well. He's got big enough eyes that I felt comfortable to do those eyes. I'm going in here with some, just a dark shade. I think it was Nuln Oil to just pick out some of those extra shades. We've done that before on Gandalf, etc. And then there's some sculpted moss on this, and we're picking that around with some greens. I had warp stone at hand, so I just started putting that down and picking out some areas that are maybe filled with the sculpted in moss or some lichen, etc. And then highlighted that up with moon green. Just going stippling in, nothing too fancy, all simple. Just going to add some little extra bits of highlight and interest on that decorative base. Now I didn't blend the sculpted base in with the plastic base, so when I painted the black rim, I painted the exposed base as well. And there you have it, we have Gollum. You can see he's got some pupils in there. I went in with a Gundam marker for some simple dotted eyes and did any extra little cleanup on his eyebrow that was touched up by that marker, but easy peasy little eyeballs in there. And there we have it. We got Gollum looking all grody and detailed. I really like how this guy came down. Got some teeth in there. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Not a whole mouthful, but just enough to eat some fish. And yeah, I'm really liking how this came out. And I hope you guys did too. That is a pretty simple way to do some grody skin. You can see here compared to Frodo how that looks. But why not see how everybody looks? Here's a little showcase special for you guys, seeing all the work that we've done through this Fellowship series. We have Sam and Frodo here. You can really see the punchy colors. Everybody really stands out on their own. They have iconic looks. They're not blending in too much with each other, yet they're not standing out so much that they don't fit in. Everything's kind of looking real together, real homogeneous, but also stands out. I really like, again, I think it bears repeating on these hobbits. Everybody's got some nice saturated color on them. That's something that I've been trying to get into and away from my old style of painting. Getting some more color in there, even if it's not as realistic or I maybe grim dark. But here we do have our 2 little friends on the battlefield, Legolas and Gimli. We can see how that detail work that we put in, that extra detail on the armor, etc., really stands out. Here's Boromir and Strider or Aragorn. And again, same thing. When it comes to Boromir, he's got some extra details on there that really stands out and makes him, I don't know, little bit better than just having the normal sculpt, I think. Especially on his gauntlet area. We have the Tree of Gondor. I think that's pretty cool there. Last up, we've got our faithful wizard leader, the one who put this whole group together, Gandalf. Again, just the saturation, the colors, the punch. Really like how that came out. Hope you did too. Not so much gray on that Gandalf gray. We can't forget about his blue accents he has going on. Give him a little bop there. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed our journey through Middle-earth, going through the Fellowship. I do have some more miniatures that we might get through in the future, but for now, we're going to take a break from Middle-earth and Lord of the Rings. We're going to move on to our next project. So everybody who's watching, thank you for your support. Thanks to patrons, as always. Next up, we've got some Stargrave, and we're moving into our next board game project. That is going to be Resident Evil. So look forward to that and some polls in the near future. See you in the next one. Bye-bye!